Hello everyone, welcome back to Command Wolf Gaming. I am CWG and welcome back to Trailmakers. Now, if you guys remember in last episode, we actually made this wonderful little walker here using just the A and D inputs. Doesn't work very well, but you guys tasked me with actually making a logic designed walker. So basically we're just going to slap on some well, not logic design, but a self-propelled walker. Basically, I can go like this, clap my hands without having to do anything. Now, you can actually program each one of these hinges to be, have a delay and all this other stuff. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to use some basic logic. We're just going to use these AND blocks. And the reason why we're going to use the AND blocks because they're the easiest to program and to bunch up. So we're going to go like this. Then we're going to take this. We're going to program this for this side. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to put a positive input of W. And we're just going to toggle that so it's always on. Now we do have these little timers on here. We got a delay timer. We got active timer. And then we also have a reset timer. So on this side, we're just going to put 1 for reset on both. So that we'll get a 1 second active time for this. Now on this side, if we take a look at this side, right, as you can see, the red is all in the opposite direction. Basically, the whole system is flipped. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna program this to a W, right? In fact, actually, we can program this to the green as well. Put a -1, 1, 1, and then we can put an output of -1. That's right, logic blocks can accept -1 as output. Now, if we hit this, should be working. Not working. You know why? Because these will not accept a negative output. Okay, so that's what was going on. So I've actually tried to experiment with this the other day. After I completely designed it, but couldn't figure out that. But all right, so now that we got this changed up, we got a negative output. So we got this on red. And we're going to call that as negative, the green as positive, and the output as 1 over here with the delay as 1, 1, 1, 1. Step in. We hit W. Should be... Oh, wait. Did I forget to program it all? How embarrassing. Let's see here. Ah, that's right. Because I'm stupid. Wait. If that's true, then we can go like this, go like that, toggle that off, put this as -1. Maybe that'll work now. Maybe that'll work. Ah, there we go. So it is working. Haha! So we can do all positive inputs, and basically it's just copy and paste, and it works. As you can see, very basic walker using some logic. So, and again, this is very basic. We can go this left side, it's all going to be positive. So it's going to be positive green, which is going to be W, with a positive output of 1. Active time is 1, and the reset time is 1. So this is all this green, right? Because this is going to be swinging out, this is going to be bending, is all going to be 1. However, on this side, we're going to reverse the positive input to negative output. We get a -1, which will turn this accordingly. Now, I think we can try to program this so that we can have the leg swing backwards, because as we saw before, when we're walking, we're getting a lot more width out of it, right? When we're just doing the regular A and D walker. So I think what we can do is we can take some more logic blocks here. We're just going to use AND gates because AND gates are going to be the simplest things to use without going too nuts on this. And then we're going to go over here. This is going to be a negative, right? Because as we can see, red is negative. We already have this as negative. We're going to program this as toggle, toggle, and that is going to go over here, right? However, this is also going to activate that. Remember, we're going to have two positive inputs or two negative inputs depending on this. So this is going to be a negative input from this AND block and also from the W pushed when we hit toggle, right? That will activate that. Same thing with this, except we're going to reverse this, toggle 1, 1, and then this is, we're going to program that, where this is going to move that way. Now, this should move accordingly. Doesn't look like we're getting any more width out of it. So, okay, so let's play around with this a little bit more. So maybe instead of having this here, how about we move this? We'll program this to this instead. We select that as a negative input. All right. Program that, take this off there, right? And then on here, we can do this as a negative input, -1. And we'll put that on here. Now let's see what that does. We're not getting output. As we can see there, the top arrows are not outputting correctly. So let's see what is going on here. So for some reason, because this is programmed to that, so that's leaving a positive output to here, which is also leaving out, it should be leaving a positive output to this. However, it should be pushing out a negative output. It might be that these hinges cannot accept a dual input on here, and that might cause it not to be able to swing the leg. So, how about this? How about instead of doing this overcomplicated thing, we'll just go like that, then we can go 1, 1, and 1, right? Then on this side, we can go do the same thing. We go 1 and 1, and then we'll remove that from there. Let's see what that does. Gives me a little funky dance, doesn't it? All right, stop. All right, let's see what happened here. So this goes to that's why. That's what they say. All right, so that goes to there. Okay, and then this would go to there. Right. Do it. Maybe not. Okay, maybe it's not the best choice to actually use some extra logic blocks. I'm probably confusing the whole thing. And actually, we have this cool angle sensor, but I don't think I'm going to use it in this project. We're just going to use these AND blocks. I could try to use the expert blocks too. Alright, well, you know what? We'll just leave it. Alright. In fact, we can go like this. To make it a little easier, we can go like this. Right, so we can have them pictured to the right leg. So we go like this. Like so. So we know which is going to which leg. So these two middle ones are going to this leg, and these two, this top and bottom goes to the left leg. So let's try to get this working. Well, we've been trying to get it working. We couldn't get it working. All right, so we're going to go like this. Positive input that, -1. Because I keep trying to put this negative output, this -1 output, because we want that leg to twist backwards. So we're going to put this, also we're going to delay this 1, 1, and 1, because we got to match it up to this one, which is 1, 1, and 1. Then on here, put this here, going to do this. It's going to be a W, toggle, and this is going to be a -1. Okay, now let's see if that works. Okay. What happened there? Well, that certainly is practice on there. That's going to be a positive, which should move this leg backwards. That should be moving this leg backwards, but it's moving it forward. I mean, this one's supposed to be moving the leg backwards, but it's moving it forward. So let's see what's going on. Trying to watch the back here to figure out what's the input. It kind of wants to do it. When I say kind of, it kind of wants to do it. It doesn't want to do it. So, because both legs are moving forward at the same time, and that should not be happening. This should be a green. Because I'm... I just realized because I'm an idiot. That has to be 0. Then over here, since this will be -1. There we go. Kind of working. It is working. I am surprised that is working correctly. But as you can see there, the second from the top block is not outputting completely. So let's see what's this one. This one is going to that joint. That should have a positive input of 1. That might be the reason. So if you watch. I'm climbing on air. Alright, so we screwed that up a little bit. But let's just adjust these because these legs are actually out at 35 degrees. So let's drop it down to 30 degrees. Okay, there we go. Alright, so that is the constant input of W without me touching any buttons. And it's actually very simple programming. I just did it a little bit too much because I wanted that leg to swivel back as well. So if we take a look at this real quick. Right? So we're just going to go from bottom to top. So this bottom one has a positive input of W, toggled with a active input of 1 and a delay of 1. It's a reset of 1. The output is positive 1. So it will send this signal to here. Now, it's green because that's what all these are. That's green, and that will work. This side is actually this right side. So we're doing the same positive output of W, right? But since this is swinging in the opposite direction as a negative, right? We program that output as -1. We set up delay as 1. We're having active input as 1 and a reset of 1 because this is all based off of this little guy right down here. So this is going to be our top champion here. Next, we got this one. This one is also programmed onto this right hinge, like this one right here. However, it is sending a positive output of 1 with a delay or input of 1 second hold and 1 second reset because it's basically copying this one down here, except it's just on this right side here. Then on this top one, we have another positive input of W, but with a negative input of 1 with a delay of 1, hold of 1, and a reset of 1 for this block, because since it's doesn't want to send the leg forward, it wants to send the leg backwards. It's gonna send a negative input, so this red will swing. So that's pretty. Honestly, I could have done it the other way or made it a little bit simpler by just having the reds set up, but it makes everything all hunky-dory within the same parameters, I gotta say. So I could make this a bit more complicated and probably make working on, you know what, let's try to do these ankles. Let me run ankles real quick and see if I can get some cool programming done for this. So I'll be right back for you guys. Alright guys, so I haven't figured out ankles yet. I think the suspension pieces are the best choice if you want to do something with ankles, but it kind of works because it gets to a certain point where it's just off balance, and I think the only way I can fix this is by constantly decreasing this hip joint angle, right? So if I constantly decrease it, like let's say maybe 20 degrees, it might work because of the weight issue. I mean the balancing issue. I don't have a actual like gyroscope or anything to implement on this thing, but it's a cool little design anyway. But we're gonna save this maybe for a later project. Maybe we'll add some more stuff to it, make it look cool or whatnot. So, but for the most part, this will be our final form right here for a automatic walker. Let me just get rid of these extra toes, and we'll get rid of these hinges because we no longer need these hinges because that was an utter disaster, guys. I'm not even joking you. So now we're gonna again we're gonna go through this one more time so that everybody knows how to program this correctly. First of all, you can leave all these hinges on your pre-programmed settings as A and D or D or whatever else, as we said in the last episode. On this bottom logic block, now if you guys can use however setup you want for the logic. This is a little bit more advanced, so you guys can move a little bigger, have bigger steps, right? If I put this back to 35, right? So what you're going to do here, these are all going to be programmed. All these logic blocks are going to be programmed with a positive input of W or forward with the hold checked on there. So basically if we go into here, it's going to be on toggle. You're going to have that as on. So on this bottom one, you're going to base everything off this bottom one. You're going to have a input, active input of 1 and a delay or a reset of 1. So basically 1 second, 1 second, and output of positive 1. Next one up, you're going to have it set to, again, W as positive input with toggle, right? Delay of 1, active input of 1, and then a reset of 1 with a negative output, right? Next one up, you're going to have it set pretty much like you did on the very first one. So it's basically a copy of the first one, right? Which is positive input of W, toggle set, input delay, I'm sorry, input received 1, and then a reset of 1 with an output of 1. Then the topmost one will be pretty much the second to the bottom, right? It's going to be 1, delay of 1, input receive 1, and then reset of 1 with a negative 1 output. Then these will all go according to plan. So this bottom one will be set to the left side, right? So left leg, left hip, left knee joint. This top second from the bottom will be set to the right side, so the right hip joint, right knee, and then the third from top will be set to the right. I'm sorry, the right leg, right hip joint, right, with the positive output. Then the very top one will be set to the left hip joint with a negative output. So basically you're gonna get this dancing queen, na, 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 na. Well, not so much like that, but you're gonna have a walk-in walker as long as you have these hip joints at a not so extreme angle. Because remember, when both legs are turning in the opposite direction, it's not just, oh, it's 35 degrees on one leg. It's a whole 70 degrees from middle of axis. So that's a major factor you gotta think about. So I would say probably 30 degrees would be the best choice. And as you can see, we're kind of walking, or we were walking. I don't know why we're having so much trouble with this again. Probably 30 degrees or probably some other lower settings. You can change it up. Let's say 20. Okay, there you go. 20 degrees works great for the inputs that we have. As you can see there, it's obviously working just fine. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in today here on Command Wolf Gaming. Hope you enjoyed the footage. Now, if you guys have any comments or suggestions, make sure to leave it down below in the comment section. I'm hoping that I answered you guys' question on how to program this using one single button to drive. Obviously, it's not as good as using A and D, because A and D you can actually control your obviously timing. We can do a little bit better on the time. We can adjust the timing to be like a longer delay, or obviously a shorter delay, but that'll affect on our angles as well, so we can play around with it a little bit. But I think maybe in next episode we'll probably decorate this a little bit more, maybe make it look like a dinosaur or something. I don't know, I haven't really decided yet on what to do in the next episode, but make sure to leave a comment down in the comment section. And just so you guys know, that about 95% of you guys are still not subscribed to the channel. That's right, 95% of you guys are still not subscribed to the channel, so to make sure to hit that big red subscribe button down below. And like I always say, folks, like, subscribe, and share. Spread the love, and I hope to see you next time here on Command Wolf Gaming. Bye bye now.